Hey guys, Ash here from C4 Tech, and today I have a very interesting unboxing for you. This here is the Redmi K30 Ultra. It's got a 120Hz AMOLED panel, a 5G capable chipset, and since it is a K series device from Redmi, the price to performance ratio, it's quite unbelievable. Okay, I'm gonna stop hyping it right now and dive straight into the unboxing. This isn't your typical Redmi packaging because this isn't your typical Redmi phone. Now, inside China, it's known as the K30 Extreme Commemorative Edition that Redmi has built to celebrate their 10-year anniversary, and that's something we see on top of the box as well. Now, this here is the 6128 variant. So let's go ahead, open up the lid, and hey, classic Xiaomi motto on this cardboard insert. Always believe something wonderful is about to happen, and that's on the always on display as well. Well, something wonderful is happening right now. I am unboxing the K30 Ultra. You guys are watching it and you guys are gonna click that subscribe button. Okay, I'll see myself out. Corny jokes aside. Opening up the flap, we are greeted by some ejector pin, some paperwork, a USB Type-C to 3.5mm dongle, and finally a clear plastic case. Now moving on to the start of the show, let's take the K30 Ultra out of the box. First impressions, this glass back is nice to look at. It's typically Redmi, one can say. We then have a 33-watt fast charger in here, and finally a USB Type-C cable that, interestingly, has these orange accents. By the way guys, if you've been enjoying this video thus far, subscribe, turn on notifications, hit that bell icon. Now design-wise, the K30 Ultra takes after other phones in the K30 series. So we get this quad camera array to the back arranged in a floral-like pattern encased within a circular camera bump. As for the rest, we have a slightly color-changing finish to the glossy Gorilla Glass 5 back. In fact, this is a glass sandwich design. There's Gorilla Glass 5 to both the front as well as the back. The use of premium materials plus a 4500 mAh battery, it kind of ends up pushing the weight over 210 grams. Couple that with a large screen and slippery glass, it quickly becomes clear that ergonomics is definitely not the focus here. Now, I did just mention the display, so let's talk about that. This here is a 6.6-inch panel. The K30 Ultra carries over design cues from the K20 and the K30 series, and it's one of the very few devices released in 2020 that sports a pop-up camera. Now, to be fair, we really haven't heard any major complaints from users of the K20 or K20 Pro, so the pop-up mechanism that Xiaomi's been using, it seems to have passed the test of time, at least a year. So from a durability perspective, we don't have to be as wary of it as we were when the K20 Pro launched. The mechanism itself, it's quite fast, and to the front, we've got this 20 megapixel selfie snapper. And the selfies here, as you can see, they lack the unnatural punch we've come to see from many other cameras. They're pretty neutral with the colors, detail is ample, and the portraits, they also turned out alright. Now, there's also this circular cutout on the moving camera mechanism, and that's actually a notification LED. So that's a bit of a change in design coming from the K20 series, and I found it quite effective. Anyways, coming back to this display itself, the standout feature of this end-to-end full-screen AMOLED panel, it's actually twofold. Now, we've seen end-to-end full-screen panels in the past, right? Full-screen AMOLED panels in the past. And we've also seen 120Hz refresh rate panels, 120Hz refresh rate AMOLED panels in the past. But this is the first time we're seeing a combination of these two on the same phone. The first full-screen 120Hz panel in the entire world, it's here. And the distraction-less experience, that's something I can see myself getting used to very easily. I mean, I've kind of gotten used to having a notch or a punch hole. It is a sacrifice we've all come to accept for these thin bezels with a high screen-to-body ratio. But every time I get a full-screen display, I kind of fall in love with it all over again. And Xiaomi's used a top-of-the-line AMOLED panel. It's even HDR10 Plus certified, so everything from the brightness to contrast, it's just that we've come to expect from a top-tier AMOLED display. No complaints at all. Adding to the immersive media watching experience is the stereo speaker setup. These two get pretty loud. Now, when I first read of the specs of the K30 Ultra on the day of its launch, I had something nagging at me. I mean, the fact that they've gone with a MediaTek Dimensity 1000 Plus, I didn't know if it was a powerful enough chip to drive 120 frames a second continuously. And while I cannot answer that for sure at the moment, my initial impressions are pretty bullish. That said, despite the benchmarks, I would have preferred if Xiaomi had stuck with the Snapdragon 865 Plus or at least the 865 for the Ultra. Well, I love the fact that they've doubled the refresh rate here and it's great for gaming, and the general UI smoothness is unbelievable. Stepping down from the processing horsepower of an 865 to a Dimensity 1000 Plus kinda seems like 2 steps forward and a step back. Now, what do you guys think? Leave a comment down below, and also while you're down there, let me know if you'd like to see a Dimensity 1000 Plus versus 865 Plus speed test, and if yes, which phone would you like to see this pit against? Let me know. The Dimensity 1000 Plus, it's a 7nm chip just like the Snapdragon 865, and in recent years MediaTek chips have improved a lot when it comes to idle battery drain, so I'm expecting good things from this 4500 mAh battery. Of course, packing that larger battery does mean that the K30 Ultra is a bit on the girthier side at over 9mm of thickness, but thanks to that curved glass back, the in-hand feel is still quite good. The power and volume buttons, they are nice and clicky. They're located on the right edge. Up top, we've got the secondary noise cancelling microphone, a cutout for that pop-up camera, and the IR blaster. So yes, Xiaomi has retained the IR blaster, but unfortunately the headphone jack has been cut out. But Xiaomi, or rather Redmi here, remains one of the very few brands that's actually shipping a dongle, an adapter in the box. So any which ways, the left edge sits well left clean. At the bottom, we've got the speaker grill, primary microphone, USB Type-C port, and the dual SIM slot. Do note that there is no micro SD card support on this phone. So it's actually a very good thing that the base variant itself is 128 gigs. It's coupled with 6 gigs of RAM for those curious. Now, coming back to that Type-C port, here's where we can plug in the included 33-watt fast charger. And Xiaomi claims we can go from 0 to 100 in less than an hour. 58 minutes to be precise, and that is excellent numbers. Now, since this here is an AMOLED panel, Xiaomi has embedded the fingerprint scanner underneath the display, and it works just as expected. In fact, we even have face unlock on here, and I was surprised by how fast it was. I've mentioned this quite a few times already in other videos, but again, I'm gonna say MIUI 12 here on the K30 Ultra as well. It feels blazing fast. We have the usual MIUI 12 goodies like floating windows, and since there's an AMOLED screen on board, we've got a pretty fleshed out always on display as well. Oh, and remember that the notification LED and the pop-up selfie camera, we can customize the lights, add sound effects to it. It's very similar to what we've seen before with the K20 series. Now, there are a few China-centric features like Taplus and Xiaomi's own AI assistant, but I mean, I don't really know any Chinese beyond Shishi, so I steered well clear of them. Now, to wrap things up by taking a look at those rear cameras, the primary sensor is Sony 64 megapixel IMX682, basically the same sensor as the K30 Pro down to the f1.9 aperture lens. It's identical. As expected, the pictures here turned out equally good with similar detail levels and impressive dynamic range. The secondary is a 13 megapixel f2.4 ultra wide. The field of view is 119 degrees, so it's not the widest out there, but Redmi has done a good job of matching the colors with the primary. The 5 megapixel telephoto macro, it's a 50mm macro option, and generally macro cameras, you know, you guys know how I feel about it, but this one seems to be a little better. It feels like a little bit of fresh air. First off, we've got autofocus, which makes a world of difference. Then the colors come out looking bright and vibrant. Honestly, I feel this should be standard for macro cameras, if any brands including one. Now, even with the K30 Ultra, we've got, hey, a 2 megapixel token depth sensor to make up the numbers. So they've been like every other brand with that. Now, talking about making up numbers, let's talk pricing. The K30 Ultra starts from 1999 yuan in China, that converts to about 22,000 rupees. On the flip side, we've got the K30 Pro that costs 1,000 yuan more at 2999 yuan, so that's about 33,000 rupees. Now, if you were to talk about the differences between both phones, they are nearly identical except for two main points. The K30 Ultra comes with a 120Hz display, while the K30 Pro carries the same display but the refresh is 60 Hz. The other difference is Dimensity 1000 Plus and Snapdragon 865. So the K30 Pro, it also, by the way, has a marginally higher capacity battery, 200 mAh more, but is all this, you know, a couple of 100 mAh lesser battery, but double the refresh rate, and swapping in, most importantly, the Dimensity 1000 Plus with the the 865 with the Dimensity 1000 Plus. Is all this worth getting that 10,000 rupees off? Well, that's something I can only answer after my full review. But for now, I want you guys to know, what do you think about the K30 Ultra? Is this something you like? Do you want Redmi to bring this to India, or maybe you want Poco to rebrand it and bring it to India as a say Poco F2 Pro or Poco F2 Ultra or something like that? Let me know via the comments below. And with that, we get to the end of this quick little unboxing video. Thumbs up, thumbs down based on whatever you felt about it. Subscribe, turn on notifications by hitting that bell icon if you haven't yet. And thanks a lot for watching. Till next time, my name's Ash. You've been watching C4E Tech, and I'm signing off for now. You guys have a great day. Bye-bye.